Jesus creepings, you sexy motherfuckers out there. It is your host, Benjamin Dutil, with the Horror Heathen YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast. Today is my last episode for the Christmas special of the Horror Heathen YouTube channel, and I have a very special guest, a very cool guest to end this series, Miss Christina Crivici, who plays young Agnes in one of my all-time favorite horror Christmas movies, Black Christmas. And a lot of people who don't know who she is because I don't know. I'm surprised you have there's not many people following you, which really bugs the shit out of me because that movie was so awesome and you did so well at a young age in that movie. I mean, anyone who can act at that age deserves any type of award. I don't care what the fuck they say. So they can kiss my ass. So anyway, with my honor and my pleasure to bring you into my show. Thank you for joining me today. How the hell are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing pretty good. I'm like happy it's Christmas season. I love that we're having a chat about Black Christmas. Takes me back a really long time. So I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm ecstatic. I mean, I'm so starstruck. This is killing me. I mean, uh,
That's very cute. I love it.
so yeah, I have a small bio on you, and I'm hoping that you can extend it after I'm done with this. It bugs the hell out of me how not many people put that much stuff about the internet about themselves, which I'm sure you have your reasons. So I mean, being a military veteran, I would taught not to put too much information about myself on the internet, but it's kind of late now because of what I do. So I'm screwed on that one. Yes. So be prepared to be screwed, blued, and tattooed. That's all I'm gonna say. So you are a Canadian born actor. Are you from Vancouver, BC?
I am. I'm actually from Burnaby, so just outside of like Vancouver downtown, but like it's close enough. But yeah, yes.
There are a lot of talented actors coming from Canada. I mean, you're definitely not the first, and you're definitely not gonna be the last Canadian actress I'm going to interview on my show because believe it or not, majority of the Canadian actors I interview actually live in Saskatchewan, which is so weird.
Well, I love that. That's so cool. I mean, why not? Saskatchewan's great.
So, because every time I interview somebody, it's like, "Oh, well, I live in Saskatchewan." I'm like, you're like the eighth person I talk to who lives in Saskatchewan.
That's so
I guess
funny.
it's. I've never been. Okay, I've been to Canada. I've been to Nova Scotia, which is really beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, I spent 3 days there. I don't remember any of it. It was most of a blur. I was drunk most of the time, but
Nova Scotia.
a lot of bar hopping in my day in my military days. So, you began professionally working in both stage and screen at the age of 8. So very young, which is I think is a great start for you because you were in one of the most notorious Christmas movies ever. Um,
Yeah.
you grew up being a competitive dancer and a soccer player. You found your passion for the spotlight early on. After many years of balancing your three joys, you found a multitude of injuries. Do I want to know? I mean,
Lots of sports injury. Yeah.
Hey, you sound like my son. My son's always breaking his shoulder. I don't know why.
Oh,
He broke his left shoulder 6 times already. Like, how does it? How do you keep doing that? I'm
yeah.
like, are
Stop.
you? I can't
Stop.
afford the hospital bills anymore. Stop it. Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
your fuel has been sparked to improve on your profession as an actress.
Mhm.
So, and if you don't mind me saying so, you've done it. I mean, you're there. I mean, you've reached your goal, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, it was a goal from really early on. I just kind of knew it and I went for it and I've kind of been coasting since then. So yeah, I don't know what it was, but I knew it at the age of like 8 or 7 and I was like, okay, cool, this is it. Whatever that looks like, I don't care, I'm doing it.
okay, right, just do it.
Yeah, I know. So sometimes you just really know and you just kind of go for it. And that's exactly what I did. And I was grateful enough to have a family that supported that. So here we
That's
are.
awesome. I mean, to me, it's. I'm an opportunist. If I see something I like, I'm going to go for it.
Totally.
So, that's how I've always been, and that's what got me started doing my YouTube channel and my podcast.
It's
And I was
amazing.
like, you know what, I need to get actors on my show. So fuck it, I'm gonna make an IMDb Pro account. I'm gonna reach out to everyone's publicist and just see how it goes. So,
Yeah.
believe it or not, you are my 84th guest. So
Ooh, lucky 84. I'll take it.
if you sure, if you it's better than 13, I guess. I don't know. It depends on your it depends on what you believe in these days. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
True. Yeah, it's fair.
So being playing Agnes was your first role, obviously.
It
Um,
was. Yep.
how did you hear about that, and how did you get into the how did you get the audition for it?
Yeah. Um, it's a great question. I had an agent as soon as I started, so I was lucky enough to kind of get in there and get started really quick. I was brand new to the industry and nobody like around me was in the industry at all. So um it was a brand new adventure for both my mom and I. And yeah, so my agent, got me the audition and casting was like, sure, we'll bring her in. And then I went for my audition with the director, Glenn Morgan. He was in the room. And I think I did the scene once or twice and booked it. And then later on, actually, we had a chat, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I knew it was you as soon as you walked through the door." And I was like, "That's amazing! Like, that's the best thing that little 8-year-old me could have heard." So, and I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like, it was my first, like I had been for auditions, but it was like a first role. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like also tiny and like brand new to the industry, so that's kind of it. Like, I was lucky enough to kind of walk in and when timing's right, I guess, and like fit the part. And they were like, "Yeah, let's go." And I was like, "Okay, go on in our next adventure." I guess. Like I don't know. I was so small. I don't know. It was just. I guess one could quantify it as luck, but I'm grateful for it.
It was luck, it was talent that got you in. So obviously, but you had to be ecstatic to be that young, get your first
Yeah.
major role in a feature film. So
Absolutely. And I was so young that like I obviously hadn't been introduced to the world of horror or thrillers or anything aside from, the kids stuff. And so I was really confused. Like I was like, am I going to be scared the entire time? Like I was a really skittish kid, like in the sense that like I got scared with everything. Like I was like, anything horror, don't show me. Like I'll get scared, I'll have nightmares. Yeah, so I was like, I don't even know what this looks like. Let's go to set, I guess. Like I don't even know what that looks like. And it was a really cool process of like prosthetics and like lots of like wardrobe and all of that kind of stuff. So it was a very new experience, but very fun.
were you excited because you're the first movie, or were you excited because it was a movie about Christmas?
Honestly, I didn't even have like a concept of what like Black Christmas meant. Like I was like, what even is that? Like I was told that it was like darker and I just like didn't know what the depth of that was. So I think I was excited for all of it. Like I was like, let's go. I don't know what this looks like, but like I'm up for the adventure.
Me being a kid, if I was put into a major movie, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? What do I do? I mean,
Yeah.
where do I go? So,
Yeah, I know. And I was just kind of like following what everybody was like saying to me, like as you do when you're a kid, right? Like I had my excitements and my curiosities, but I was like, I didn't know. I guess the best way to put it is that I didn't know necessarily the gravity of what it meant at the time because I was just having fun. Like I was a kid and I was doing what I loved. Like you can't argue with that. So I was literally just up for the adventure. I had no idea. I still don't really know the whole like concept of it. I just know that it was like such a special part of my career and of my youth.
knowing the backstory of Agnes, were you kind of disturbed about that?
Sorry.
Knowing the backstory of how Agnes was created.
Ah, yeah. Oh,
Disturbing.
yeah. I remember when I figured that out. I was like, oh, because like my mom can read the script and only tell me so much, right? Like, how are you
Yeah,
supposed to communicate? Like, her role too was like, how are you supposed to communicate this complex story to a child? Like, how do I bring her into this world without, and so she can do her job without kind of, making her grow up too quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like so, when a
Very.
mother and a son get together, this is what happens.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's still when
God.
like
All
even
right.
now, like, oh God.
Anyway, that's not the purpose of this interview. So, so, so you being young, you were eight
Yeah,
8 years old, right?
I was
So,
8.
what was it like being on set? I mean, just like not knowing where to go, not where to do. being
Yeah,
directed where to what to do.
yeah, I had a helping hand the entire way. So I obviously had no idea. I'd never been on set before. You know, you can only do so many like classes in the like around town, especially like when you're that age to really get that experience. So I was nervous, but I think my excitement just kind of overshot that. So through the entire process, like I keep referencing my mom, but she was really my key, right? Because she guided me through it all and brought me through everything. So I had her always, but on set, the communication in the team was so good that I was never left uneducated on where I was going to go next. So I had like, you know, I had people walking me around, like from my trailer to the set, telling me what exactly was going on. And the director, Glenn Morgan, he was super uh, easy to work with and communicated with me in a way that I understood and just kind of gave me the bullet points of what I needed to do, what was happening. So it made my job super easy. So I had a helping hand
That's
the entire
awesome.
thing. Yeah, yeah, it was really
That's
cool.
awesome. At
It
least you're
really,
guided because some people that they just like, okay, you're on your own later.
yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's definitely the way of the world. But
Okay, good luck.
yeah, literally, I know. Send the kid in. But yeah,
So
no, it was fully
I
taken
would
care of.
think there has to be stressors. Of course, it's got to be stressors. Do you was it to talk about any stressors? What it was like?
Oh man, from what I remember, I think that I just wanted to do a good job. Like that was always my conversation. I was like, I just want to do what everybody wants me to do, and I want to do it well. So I think the stressors, if anything, like obviously when you're filming a horror movie, it's not scary in the moment. Like that's the whole point of your job as an actor, to
Right.
get everything kind of going and that tension built. Um, so in terms of stressors, I think the biggest stressor was probably that I just didn't know what was going on, like in the big picture of things. Like I was just there and present, but I didn't know how all the cogs work. So I didn't know how the full thing was going. So I was just kind of showing up and honestly, what does a kid have to stress about at that point, you know? Like I'm walking up to set, I'm doing what I want to be doing, like this is the coolest new experience. Like I think I was just such a sponge and I was just taking it all in and I was really really so grateful and so happy, that like my stressors at that time were probably like I'm hungry and you know I'm tired. Like realistically, what did I have to stress
Oh,
about, right?
ready to go to bed now.
Yeah, but I think the biggest pressure was like the pressure was on, right? Like I was stepping onto a professional set with working people that had been doing it for such a long time and I was this like tiny blip in this big thing. So I think my stressors then were that I just want to do a good job and I can absolutely say that I am the exact same way now. So
No, you did so well in the movie. I mean, I had to watch it again right before this interview. So just to refresh my memory, you did great. I mean, you pat yourself on the back for that shit. I mean, a lot of actors. I mean, yes, even I've talked to other like all these big actor names, and they say even they get nervous going on sets. It's like I talked to Lou Temple, who Lou Temple is. Devil's Rejects, House of the Corpses. He's like every time I walk on set, I get nervous.
yeah.
I'm like, I bet, dude, because you're afraid you're gonna fuck up, and and they
Oh
say the director's
yeah.
like, hey, get off my set, you messed up, get the hell out of here, I don't want you here anymore. But
Yeah,
yet,
there's definitely a lot riding on it. But like I think too, like especially in the evolution of it, like you get more nervous as you grow up and you start to know the world. Whereas like at that, like when you're young, you don't like when you're that young too, like you don't know what there is to stress about really because you're just kind of showing up and having fun, hopefully, obviously.
and right
But
before I start interviews, I have my own way of preparing for the interviews. Like I'm talking to actors here, and then I get nervous. I'm like, shit, what do I say to this person? How am I going to act? But
yeah.
like I said, in the emails, it's just be yourself, do what you want to do. I don't care if you curse. It's encouraged. I don't give a shit. I mean,
Yeah, that's right. And that's kind of it though, right? Like you just gotta find that little like balance point, then you're good. You
and
got it.
when I talk to someone from one of my favorite movies, have you seen the TV series The Strain? It's on Hulu. It was on FX for a while.
don't think I have. Not yet, at
It's
least.
it's about vampires, but it's not like your traditional vampire aspect. It's like more of like old school, like old country vampire, like European shit. So
Oh, yeah. Cool.
really good TV show. I'm watching it again just because I've got two actors from the show lined up, which I'm really happy because it's one of my favorite shows of all time. So
Cool.
just got two emails confirmed in February. So
Cool.
I'm like, this is fucking fantastic. But what am I
Fun.
gonna say to these people? Because the guy who played the master in the movie, he was also in another like 300 and like Pacific Rim. I'm like, these people, these guys are awesome. But
Yeah.
what do I do? And then I have to confide in my girlfriend's like, hey, if you were me, what would you say to these people?
Yeah.
so, so
Perspective
she's like,
change.
okay. She's like, this is what you're gonna say. I'm like, okay, I'll write the questions down. And I'm like, if I don't like the questions, I may modify them, but whatever. So
I mean, at
anyway,
the end of the day, they're people, right? Like you're talking to
yeah.
people and people who have just different life experience than you. So it's a good thing either which way.
And one thing I interviewed Robert Lasardo, one of the biggest names in Hollywood, and he called me afterwards like, "Hey, how'd the interview go?" I'm like, Robert Lasardo's calling me. What the hell?"
Cool. Fun.
It's like, so a lot of actors still call me after the interviews. They still check out my video once in a while and see how I'm doing. Like Ken Sagals from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and 4. I mean, they'll keep in touch with me, which is what I think is really fucking cool. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm digressing. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. This is about you, not me. Okay.
Hey, that's okay. I'll hold space for
So,
it. Don't worry at
so,
all.
so what was it like working with like Mary Louise Weinstein and all the other actresses on set like that? I mean, did you even know who they were when you were there?
Oh man, I knew who some of them were. I don't think like we had like a wrap party and I got to actually like meet everybody as a human being, not in like their work setting, and like that was cool because I think it settled in then. Looking back, I was like, this is dope. As soon as I was like a little bit older, like in my teens, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty wicked. Like I like Michelle Trachtenberg, like I looked up to when I was younger. She was making a lot of films then, and so it was like it's really cool at that age to go, especially as a young actor, to go, oh, like that could be me later on. Like it was a really cool and very like female oriented cast. Which I thought was really empowering, especially at that age. I was,
Right,
whoa,
of course, yeah.
lots of women happening, and like there's like just this really cool energy of strong people. So that was really cool to reflect on. Like a lot of it for me is reflecting and looking back and being like, oh, what did that teach me, and what did I learn, and who was I around, and it was really cool to see uh just like people doing their job. Like I think that was such a professional set that I found, at least especially at the time. Like it was a very professional, very well run set that nothing really felt like it went wrong from what I saw, at least. My
No, the
perspective.
movie is fantastic. I love that. Like I said, it's one of my favorite horror Christmas movies, and
Yeah.
it's definitely on my in my top five. So
Fun.
it was done so well. I watched the version from 1974. I was like, yeah, this is not so good. And then the 2006 one came out. Like, this is a lot fucking better. So,
Yeah. Did you
so
see what was it, the 2019 one? I think they did one in 2019 too.
I tried to watch it. I was like,
Just different.
oh,
Different
whatever.
vein.
It was,
Yeah.
but the 2006 version, that's still that's the one for me. So
Well,
that's the one that I could relate to. So
I think it's probably
now I
my
like
favorite.
to
So
now I'd like to ask you some personal questions, if that's okay with you. I
yeah.
say, when growing up, what were your top items on your Christmas list?
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I loved Polly Pockets. Polly Pockets were my
Holy
jam.
shit! I remember Polly Pockets.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Polly Pockets. I think I had like I was a very curious kid and I loved a little bit of everything. So I think I had like uh Polly Pockets, and I had like farm animals, and I had like soccer balls and like sports equipment, like anything for me that I could do with my siblings, I think I liked. But my siblings were like 5 and 6 years older than me. So anything that could connect us, I was like, let's do that. So if they wanted something, I was like, yeah, I want that for Christmas. Or, just like anything. I would play with probably anything.
I
Nerf
think I
guns.
believe I remember. Oh, shit, who didn't like Nerf guns?
Exactly.
They shoot people in the forehead and get away with it. It's awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. My brother and I
Fucking
had some good fights. Yeah, yeah. That's right.
Transformers the original Transformers toys were always on top of my list. Like the
Cool.
ones from the 80s. I love the original
Yeah.
Transformers. And my dad always said, we can't afford that. Like, better good job. Sorry, dude.
Please, but Santa can afford it.
And then one year I got a stereo, and I was just so fucking happy. I was like, yeah, it's like good
Yeah,
player. And then it
yeah.
went to shit because it was a cheap brand. I was not happy. Anyway,
I know kids always know the off brand. They always know the off brand. No, too smart for their own good.
so are there any Christmas wishes that you would love to come true this year?
Oh, Christmas wishes. I mean, of course, who doesn't have a Christmas wish? Um, I don't know. There's so many I could choose from. Christmas wishes I want to come true this year. I think uh I think in the place that I'm at right now, this is like gonna go into like a little sappy territory, but in the place I'm at right now in life, I think that I really just want everybody to be like healthy and happy and aligned with what they want to be doing. I would love to see everybody in my life just doing what they want and living out like you said that you started your podcast and your channel because you were passionate about it. And obviously anything that has to do with either of those things really fuels you, and I think that that's important and something that everybody deserves to feel. So I want that to come true for the people in my life. I think that's really important, so I'm gonna go with that. It's a little sappy, but it's Christmas time, so it can
Oh,
be.
that's awesome. That's a good answer. I mean, it's a lot better than I had mine. So,
Right, like yeah, why not? And yeah, yeah, I'll keep it at that.
so down to the last few minutes here, are there any upcoming movies or projects that you would like to talk about that I could help promote on social media?
Oh man. Um, I've got a couple things in the works, but I think it might be too early to speak about them.
Okay,
I
understandable.
will say I work with the production company called Yellow Belt Productions, and we've got some really cool, funky stuff coming up. So I'd say give them a look at. We're pretty new still on social media. We're just trying to kind of get our groundwork done. But keep Yellow Belt Productions in your mind. We've got some really cool stuff.
Is there a website for that? I can add in my description.
Probably. I think we've got a
Okay,
website or it hasn't launched yet, but we'll go with Instagram for now. But
okay,
yeah, check them out.
okay. I'll write that IG Instagram. Okay, awesome. I will do my
Yeah,
best to help promote that. That's great.
yeah,
So,
sweet.
thank you for joining me today. I had a good time talking to you. This was you're phenomenal. I love you. Um, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kiss my ass. 2006 version was the best. Whatever you can think what you want to think. The beautiful, the talented, the all tatted up Christina Crivici. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. You have a wonderful Christmas and a very, very, very happy New Year. And I wish you the best in your career. And whatever I can do to help this out, I'd be more than happy to. So,
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
pleasure and honor is all mine. And I will see you on the big screen.
Yeah, you will.
Take care.
You too.